What is going on? I'm zmoT. We are spending the last of our crab loot, and my goodness, was there ever a lot of loot, and not really getting rated all that much, which allowed me to get all sorts of upgrades done. Still working on those critter upgrades. Code zmoT is in the shop, and now let's jump into two different warships, shall we? I'm only going to be showing you replays on this one. Made it to 19, and like an idiot, I don't have flair. And I heard from a couple of you that said only idiots wouldn't have flair this late in the season, and I agree with a minor asterisk. So, still only have tick 1 shock bomb. Did manage to get into clone rifles, did get machine guns, which are good, and then got those extra 4 machine guns, which are also good, and this is the base I'm using, and it was, you guessed it, good. I haven't played in about 15 hours, so if you want to copy it, go nuts. It's not mine. I think it was made by Hurricane or Luke or Iceper or somebody out there. Don't really know. And I talked about not having flares. And not having flares has meant that I can't do the cool hits. There are some very cool hits with both critter cannons and Rainmaker, so I won't be able to show you those except for on my replays. But I wanted to talk about these mines. I keep seeing people drop their troops like here or here, and they just drop all of them. Please don't drop all your troops at once. Like, to get rid of these shock mines, it's just one clone rifle or Zuka here, which takes out both of those, and then one about here, which takes out both of those, and then you just drop however else you want to drop your troops. Go nuts. Drop your critter cannons or Rainmakers back in here, and they won't hit any of those shock mines. And then over on this left-hand side, I like to drop one at, like, in the middle there by that alert sign or by P2, which puts them going towards those machine gun, which clears, like, 2 out of the 3 there. So without flares, I definitely need to pay more attention to this stuff, and if you have flares and do that, you will be absolutely laughing. Now, one reason not to have flares is what this person right here is doing, and that, of course, is critters. They skipped flares so they could get to critters, and critters just clear everything. And this left-hand side is the bit of a problem for a lot of people with critter cannons, and this person just doesn't care because they've got critters. They have to shock that shock launcher for obvious reasons, but then it's just speed serum as their critters clear everything everywhere. You don't need flares if you have critters, but you probably need flares to get to critters. I am going to try to hold out without flares because I am an idiot and I like the challenge, which is kind of stupid because Boom Beach is all about using flares. But just to show you an attack that does use flares, because there are some cool attacks to be done. This is one of them, getting 3 minutes 8 seconds, which was the fastest time against my base. And notice that they're delaying. Like, look at, they're using speed serum to get these left 6 boats further out front, and then leaving these 2 unserumed so they stay in behind. Those clone rifles are clearing mines for them, and then looky, they've got all of the goodness. That shock launcher is distracted by those clone rifles. These critter cannons down here are dropping troops. It's just super well done, and you have to have flair for that. And there are some different hits where they actually flare through the middle and do all sorts of good stuff onto actual buildings. And I'll show you the attack by Mr. Capo, because Capo does all of the things right except for that first drop. Capo just eats shock mines for breakfast, and you'll notice that those flags all in the same spot. Please, Mr. Capo, don't do that, and you would have beaten me, to be completely and utterly frank. So using a flare to try to get his troops out, and this early part is just an absolute gong show, but honestly, it gets so much better. His hit was fantastic after this point, so he's got all of his troops just eating shock mines for breakfast and just paused there, and then he does this, which is very cool, just flaring directly in the middle, which gets all of his clones in the middle, and then his flare expires, and I'm not sure if he intended to use that those shock mines to keep his troops back or not, but it worked. And then from this point, this is I'm gonna go back to 1 times here. This is where things get cool, because just flaring onto engine rooms, dropping 500 critters, and then throwing a speed serum, and then flaring onto the next, and then he's got critters all over the engine rooms and speed serums and just onto that next. It's pretty gosh darn cool. This hit is a great example of like how flares make hits super cool, because your clones just stay in the middle. And I think Chef actually pulled off a similar hit where just using the troops, and he actually flares onto that, which is next level, but getting all his stuff going with the flares and just flaring and flaring and flaring, which every time I lose to someone with flare, I almost unlock that flare, but I'm going to try to hold out for critters, and I'll show you how I've been doing without. Like, I got a 3 minutes there, and a 3-4 there, and a 3-8 there, so just delaying and using that shock launcher on that left-hand side to get us some troops. That way we know we can get that engine room. And here's the drop I was talking about. 1 rifle out front to get shot in the face, 3 critter cannons, and then 1 rifle over here to clear some mines, and 1 critter cannon with another rifle. Basically, everyone that I've heard of is using 3 boats of clones and 1 boat of critter cannons, and that's what we are doing. So just going and going, and speed serum and speed serum. And note that I tried to get the speed serum as the shock was expiring, that way that critter launcher can do some work. And I talked about those clones clearing all of the shock mines. Look how good of a job they did simply by dropping them late and left. And need to be a lot bit careful about that middle shock launcher, because I need that outside engine room to go down. That outside engine room is the crux of the attack. If I don't get that quickly, it goes super slowly. And overall, not a bad hit. Just more about the drop and about the timing. And if you combine that with... Is this the same base? Is this what I just showed you? I think it is. Yeah, that's the exact same hit. So I need to pay better attention to what I'm actually showing you. We'll show you my hit against Capo because it was halfway decent. And that's where this boom cannon right here, it stops Rainmakers, but my goodness, does it ever help critter cannons, which is kind of neat. And there's that exact drop I was talking about. Flag on the right, flag on the left, and I'll show you how well they do at clearing. And then 2 critter cannons on the right, 2 on the left, and that is a total of 7 boats, and then out comes this guy on the left-hand side. And look at all those mines getting cleared by all of those cloney dudes. And then these guys, look at that, like just walking through the middle, clearing all of that stuff. And now need to keep that shock launcher shocked, or this left-hand side will not work. This middle part, again, doesn't do great because I don't have any control over what they clear, but I do have control over where I throw the speed serum, which is what I've been doing. And then just speed serum, speed serum, speed serum, trying to get my troops going where I want them to, and then throwing this final speed serum on the actual clones and the critters. So hopefully that, I mean, even if you have flares, hopefully those drops help you a little bit, because getting that stuff cleared is super useful. And you see I'm using that every single time. And then same deal here, getting that guy on that left-hand side. Need to be a little bit careful about the green mines. Starting to see green, and I missed that easy shock as well. That's a fairly gosh darn easy shock, but that shock launcher just does not range, which worked out very well. Would have been a little bit faster, obviously, if, and look at that, all of a sudden, that critter cannon reaches that engine room because of that boom cannon and because of the placement that we had placed there. So, speed serum, speed serum, speed serum, and that is my 5 engine room detail. And then jumping on into my 4 engine room. My 4 engine room's got rocket launchers and building health, and it's got all of the things, and that's why it's stagnant and stuck down in 16 or 17. So 5 engine rooms definitely better, but on the plus side, I've got Ruddero here, and he's kind of fun. Now, quick note about Seeker Shot, that ability right about there. Not a lot is known about it by a lot of players, so I wanted to shed some light on it. Notice that it's tick 4. Tick 4, you get 4 Seekers regardless of what level it is. Tick 5 takes your Seekers from level 4 Seekers up to level 5 Seekers, which does a fairly significant boost in damage. So if you're looking to use Seeker Shot. It is very viable, by the way, as depending on where their shock launchers are, and especially against 5 engine room bases. I don't do it terribly well, but we will show you how I've been doing these hits, and look at those. Like, just all of a sudden I try different things. I went from like, what was I getting down here? 310, 316, 320s to just like, all of a sudden I just go in the toilet, like straight in the toilet. So one of those things where back and forth, and I gotta say, Rudy Ruddero is super, super fun when he works, and when he doesn't, I just absolutely despise him. So I've been going something like this, and we're gonna drop you over there, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, and here comes our good friend Speed Serum. There comes our other friend Speed Serum, and of course Rudy turned towards the shock launcher, which means that he's probably gonna die, but we should be able to get some value out of him regardless as we drop all of this stuff and get all of these guys humming. Gonna keep that red streak alive, I am almost certain, but we have finally got Mr. Ruddero onto his target, which is fantastic, and now we're stuck waiting, and this is where it absolutely sucks. We need Ruddero to do something useful. We need our Rainmakers to fire, and just not happening, so we're just gonna keep pumping that button and finally getting a 3-minute 4. You see that? He only hit with one of his bombing runs. There were like 5 dropped and all of them missed. So I sometimes love Ruddero and sometimes hate him, and just not being able to flare with him. Okay, we broke the streak. We picked up a win. Gonna get back into getting into 17. I found is super easy with Ruddero. Staying there is another question itself. So on this one, Grappler, not a big deal. They do have building health, but that shock launcher is so poorly placed. I'm gonna give you a quick little demo of Seeker Shot now. Seeker Shot, I would love to have more GBE to use it, but as long as we shock those 2 shock launchers, we in theory could take those 3 engine rooms on that left-hand side, all with our guy, Mr. Ruddero. So I'm gonna go something like this, and we're gonna drop him way over here, and then just getting one of those out, and we're gonna drop with him in a second here, and one more there, and then we can just throw a shock here, and Mr. Seeker dude can do all of the things by himself. We are just gonna absolutely and utterly ignore the rest of our troops and just see if these Seeker guys can do all of it on their own. I kinda doubt it, because as you can see there, Tick 4 Seeker is just not getting it done under any circumstances. They are just getting absolutely pummeled, and that's where maybe, just maybe, if we had max level Seekers, we could have taken that down, but the Tick 4 Seekers just don't do it. And I say Tick 4, I don't actually know if it's Tick 4 or level 4. I don't actually know. Let's just check the wiki, shall we? If you guys have never checked the wiki, I would highly recommend doing it somewhat soon. So in Warships, it is rank 4, level 4, Tick 4. So Tick 4 Seekers not getting it done. It was very tempting to try that, but you guys can see there where my shocks being Tick 1 were probably more to blame than the Seeker Shot, but nonetheless, mistakes were made, and that back engine room is going to take Rudy way too much. So what I sometimes do is just go something like this, and then just drop all of this stuff and send Mr. Ruddero back over into there, and I've got the wrong ability selected, so we are screwed. We have absolutely and utterly screwed El Pucho, but hopefully we can distract some things with those other things. Getting our Seekers out, getting our Rainmakers out, and one thing to be very aware of is that those Seekers will get absolutely and utterly destroyed by your Rainmakers if you let them. So be very cautious of where the heck you drop your Seekers and what you let them do. But we can get Mr. Ruddero away from the things because we do have some Seekers coming. Let's get that out, and we'll just flare onto that other engine room and hope that our Seekers can do something to help us. But spoiler alert, Look how slow they take that engine room down with only 50% building damage. So, Supercell, if you're out there, I've been harassing you about this for years. It feels like years. Oh, we got a tie. That's not bad. Definitely should not have been a tie. Should have won that one. But Supercell, please, this screen right here, please make, like, you see this right here? This is, devs, we're going to zoom in a little bit. You see how we have no idea what ability is selected? That is painful. You've already got the ability in game. If we come back to here and we zoom in, we can see exactly what ability we have selected. That is super, super helpful. The number of times I've attacked on warships with the wrong ability selected. First it was Bullet, and now it's Ruddero. Please fix that. Anyways, that is all for me at the second. This account is now stuck and stagnant and waiting for that next level of engine room. I am going to upgrade my shocks. If you're using Seeker Shot, do upgrade your shocks. Otherwise, there's better things to spend the keys in and the tokens in, but hopefully that shedded some light on some things. Quick little video today, 2 different tech trees, one of them with flair and one of them without. And the crazy thing is, using Ruddero, you can't use your flares often because he's just like checking out this back engine room, standing in, just taking forever, and you want to flare one of these engine rooms. So not having flares is frustrating, and having flares is frustrating. So this season, very, very much about those precise, minute details, which I know some people love and some people hate. Anyways, that's all for me. I'm zmoT. Thank you for coming in, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and code zmoT expires oh so frequently. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Peace.